clone. You don't like us, leave us alone. Blast your ass and you'll be gone. Dirty Southeast is my home. South Carolina is my home. Country streets is where I roam. We be ballin' all night long. All these we be wrong. 21 friends and guns they clone. You don't like us, leave us alone. Blast your ass and you'll be gone. Dirty Southeast is my home. I'm a Carolina thug. I roll with a team that stay mean. Country is fuck, plus we smell like
Yo, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Black Legacies, Mobilizing the Movement. Before we begin today's show, of course, I'd like to make a very special announcement that I'm very excited to make, that Black Legacy will be partnering with Clemson University to give proper respect and for our ancestors and slave laborers and convict laborers, sharecroppers, that are buried at the Woodland Cemetery on Clemson University. Also called Cemetery Hill. It was Cemetery Hill before it was Woodland Cemetery. So let's give it Cemetery Hill and Woodland Cemetery. Also, I'll keep you posted on the work from what's going on out there with that, the work at Clemson University. You can also check the website. Website will be keeping you posted on IG and Facebook as well. As always, I'd like to give a major shout out to the Unity Mortuary. Without them, this would not be possible. Dewena Manford and Harry Thompson, and Thompson Granite and Monuments as well. Shout out to Miss Linda Faye for the beautiful studio here at Linden's Academy, here in downtown Anderson at 512 Murray Avenue, Anderson, South Carolina. Today's show is a bit of a continuation, more of a part two of a show that we've already touched on. We've discussed with Mr. Johnny Burton. Today we will be continuing on from that in another part with speaking with Shedrick Gaines' mother. And of course, if you heard part one or the other part, you are aware that Shedrick is a high school athlete that was murdered at an early age. Went to high school with me, played ball with me. I was had the pleasure of being able to call this young man a friend, and he met a tragic death very early in his life. But going on into, I want to, before I introduce his mother, give a little bit more of a background, I guess, and tell I say West Side, what was it, 92, I guess 92 to 96. If you played ball anywhere in this county, you know who this young man was. But to get to know this young man a whole lot better, I'm going to introduce his mother, and she's going to tell you about her. First, let you guys know her as a black woman, as a mother, just get to know her as a person and actually hear her story and hear how this story affected her, the ups and the downs of it. All right, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Miss Cathy Gaines Morrison, if I'm correct, right? Okay, so come on in, Miss Cathy. All right. Good, you comfortable?
Good. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right. So, Miss Morrison, Miss Cathy, that's what I'm used to calling you, Miss Cathy. So we're gonna keep it how we always have it up here, so we'll be comfortable up here, or whatever. This is not our first time talking. I've had a few conversations with Miss Cathy over here. We've throughout the process of setting this up, I think that I've gotten to know her a little bit. I think maybe back in the day, I maybe met her in high school, maybe once. We're coming over to Shedrick's house to see her, but I'm sure she didn't remember that, so I never brought that up. Yeah, yeah, a lot of days, and they was getting out of school early, and one day I cut out and came over there with them and went over to the house over there in the Earl homes or whatever. So,
Right.
you know, that was the gathering spot. So we was all over at your house anytime.
Everybody. Danny, you better known as Shariko,
That's it.
Clamps Jr.,
That's it. That's it. That's the whole clique. That's it. The whole old line.
Demetrius, y'all call him Meatball.
Meatball. Ah, yeah, I forgot about meat. Yeah, I can't forget about meat. That's what's up. So before we get into actually talking a whole lot about him, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us about you. Are you originally from Anderson, South Carolina?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Anderson. And I left and went to New York, stayed in New York about 17 years, and then I came back home.
Oh yeah, what part of New York you was in?
I was in the Bronx, New York.
What part of the Bronx?
Well,
You remember?
No,
All over?
all over the place.
Yeah, that's crazy.
uh,
That's crazy. My family up there in the Bronx.
Noble Avenue, the Stevens
Yes,
Avenue.
yes. Okay, my family lives over off on 3rd Ave, 145th.
3rd Avenue.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep, 3rd Avenue, 145th.
Small world.
It's very small. That's crazy. I didn't know that. So you was up in New York for 17 years, and so did you? Did you graduate high school here in Anderson and then go?
Unfortunately, I'm not a high school graduate.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Dropped out in the 11th grade like something crazy, and I regret it to this day.
Yeah. So you went all the way through, made it to the 11th grade. Was that at West Side here?
No, in New York.
Oh, in New York.
I never went to school here in Anderson.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So how old were you whenever you came back down south?
I was getting ready to be 18.
Okay. That's what's up. Okay. What about how old were you whenever you had Shed?
I was 17 when I had him.
You were 17?
I was 17 when I had him.
So he was born in New York.
Right.
Oh, okay. I ain't know Shed was a Yankee.
Not the whole Yankee.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a Yankee.
Yeah, he's a Yankee.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay. So coming down here, what brought you down this way? It was just family. This was where your roots were at, and
Family and roots. My mom married a service, a soldier, and traveled a little bit and wound up in New York and stayed there for a while. And afterwards, she just got tired of it and she decided, well, it's time for us to go home. So we packed up and came home.
okay, that's what's up. And this home, Anderson, South Carolina. Okay. So you had him when you were 17. Coming back down here when you were 18, I'm guessing.
Right.
So how was it raising, being that young and raising a child? Were you married at the time?
No, actually, I didn't marry until I was 22. I married an older man.
Okay.
But other than raising him, before I met the older man, it was a struggle at first, but you learn the good, take the good with the bad. You figure out the pros and the cons and make it work.
That's it.
You don't have no other choice.
That's it. So did you have assistance from family? If it was your family down here, pretty close knit?
Oh yeah, we're still a close family. We call one another. Basically, some of us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep in contact with one another and help one another whenever we can.
Okay. So it's been that way.
Yeah, that's what family is all about.
That's it. You got to keep that tight. Definitely. Okay. So tell me about, I guess, let's go into maybe Shed as a kid. Who as a little boy, as the littlest boy that you remember, who was he?
He was the kindest, the sweetest. He was a scaredy cat at first.
What?
Cried about every little thing. He was one of the ones that everything had to be just right.
What?
Yeah, like when he was playing sports, especially like he was playing football, and if he missed a tackle or if he didn't catch the ball, he was like, man, real upset about it. And I wouldn't say upset, but kind of discouraged. And you can't make everything. Everything is not going to be perfect. There's nothing perfect or no one but God.
I can see that part of him. I definitely seen that part of him of being an athlete, of him not wanting to make any mistakes, and I mean he led a good example. And for him not wanting to make any mistakes, he was pretty good out there. He was definitely pretty good. I mean, he had the whole aura of the coaching staff or whatever, jumping from that young age into high school or whatever, but the whole coaching staff. It's like he had him in his palm, the palm of his hand. I remember the biggest memory that I actually have was one night. I was a freshman, and I think it was halftime, and they came into the locker room. Shed was on varsity at the time, and they came into the dugout and got the keys from my coach, my head coach on JV. And so they went up into the press boxes. They went into the press box, and he don't grab the mic, and he up there announcing the game. So he's just standing out there announcing the game.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm out there on the field, and I can hear him. And it's a quarterback. He get hit, and the ball float up in the air, and I can see the ball going. And I'm going towards the ball, and I hear him, uh-oh. Little toy, there go little toy. So him and my brother, they was about the same age, and his name was Toy. So he talking about little toy, there go little toy. Oh, little toy got it. Little toy got it. And so I took off probably about halfway down the field or whatever. And he announced the rest of that game. But yeah, I mean he was a leader in a whole lot of ways. He was a leader in a whole lot of ways. He had
most of all his friends have said that to me.
Yeah, he was definitely a leader. I mean, in a whole lot of ways. I mean, if he ain't mess with you, he ain't had no problem letting you know he ain't mess with you. If he dealt with you, he dealt with you.
Right.
So, and that's just the type of person he was. He was a good dude. So was he involved in athletics very, very young?
Yeah, he started out very young. He was like about 6 years old the first time he picked up the football, and I'm like, you just too small for that. But I want to play football, so. And I kept on. Every time he would pick it up, he would throw it up in the air. Just kept throwing it up in the air. So I said, well, maybe he just want to play football. So after then, he just kept. He played little league, and from little league to high school, and just any kind of sports. He was just a sports person. Basketball, football, baseball. It didn't matter to him as long as it was something to do with sports.
That's what's up.
He even wrestled a little bit.
I remember him wrestling. I wrestled too, so I remember him wrestling.
Did y'all compete against one another?
Oh no. He was way out of my weight class at that point in time. He was a big boy. Now I used to try to practice with him sometime, but I ain't never go against him. Nah. It was two of them. You didn't want to go against at wrestling practice. You didn't want to go against Anthony Jenkins. I'm gonna give his little props up there. You didn't want to go against Anthony Jenkins. You didn't want to go against Shed up there.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else was fair game now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everybody else was fair game. It was a good day there. So what would you say are your fondest memories of that say who Shedrick actually is? What are the memories that define him to you?
He was always a kind and a caring and a loving person. He would give you the shirt off of his back, but he would give you his last. He sure would. He would always, on my birthday or Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, he was always giving me something. And he knew I loved flowers, and every so often he would, hey Mom, I bought you some flowers. And I thought I got a big kick out of that, so he is paying attention to what I like.
Yeah.
You know, most boys don't pay stuff like that no attention. Not saying that they're not paying attention to their mother, but you know, the things that they get into, they don't.
It makes sense. It makes sense. That's a little extra attention at that age anyway, definitely. Yeah, we have to get a little older before we figure out the little flowers and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
How women, period, feel about it, so. But,
yeah, but he was always willing to help. He was always willing, you know, whatever a person needed help with, he didn't change a word. He was just always just always willing.
Yeah, that's him. I can see that in a whole lot of ways. I mean, I see that. I mean, with a lot of his friends, I did see he was a protector of the group. He would keep others away from the Shariko and Clarence and this, that, and the other. He was the protector of that group. So that was just the type of heart he had. And I mean, God forbid you want to cause trouble with one of them one of them boys at that school. I mean, that was the biggest boys at the school. So
Right, right.
that was them. That was them. Um, so before we go into absolutely anything that's actually thick or that's actually difficult or anything to talk about, if you need a minute, if you need to take a break, just let me know. Just put your hand up or
No,
just
honey, I'm fine.
you good?
I'm good. I'm I'm fantastic.
Okay, okay, all right. Gotta look out for you now. Just
I
trying to out
appreciate
here.
that.
No problem
I
at all.
appreciate that.
No problem at all. So, at what point in time did you notice tendencies of street life in Shed?
Well, he was always a goer. He was always a goer, because he was always into something, and he participated in just about everything. He just wasn't one that wasn't gonna be left out.
Okay, okay.
He was just gonna participate regardless.
Yeah. Okay. So, in the environment that he grew up in the Earl homes, it was in just the people that were around there. I mean, going right around from the hole, and then you got the bowling station right down there.
Right.
And in that environment, I would say it's impossible to not come into contact with all of the negative things that our environments offer.
Well, the word negative to me is, life is a situation to me is what you make. Now you can take the good with the bad, and you can put the bad with the good. But most of the time, if you sit back and think, a lot of people fail to sit back and think. It doesn't matter what situation you in or where you live, make the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
You could be rich today and broke tomorrow. So
Okay.
what are your pros and your cons? Just take your time and think about things before you really do them.
Okay. All right. I would say above and beyond all what I would see in his environment, he didn't get involved with a lot of the other things, selling dope and stuff like that or whatever. I would say a lot of other people who weren't, and maybe it was because he was involved in so much, but a lot of people who weren't as involved that were around us, I would say, did kind of go down that path.
Yeah, well, I was always taught, I come from a big family on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. And we was always taught to, just try to do the right thing, if you can. And if you make a mistake, pick yourself up, brush yourself off and go on. We all fall down, but we don't have to lay there.
That's true. That's true. Definitely. Definitely. So, did Shedrick ever get in any trouble growing up?
Well, I wouldn't say what you would call, say, trouble, just the typical teenage things. I think he got suspended from school a couple of times for being disobedient, but other than that, basically, he was a very respectable child. I mean, whatever I asked him to do or whatever I told him to do, he done just that.
Yeah. So how did you discipline him?
I wouldn't, I would take his pleasures away from him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, I would take his allowance, or if he wanted to go somewhere, no, you can't go, and, he loved it to dress and all that kind of stuff. Well, I want this outfit, well, you're going to have to earn it. Well, I taught him to earn everything anyway. It's just the little extra things, if he did something that was not acceptable, I just punished him.
Okay. Okay. All right. So,
like making bad grades and stuff like that. No, I just wasn't taking that. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, it was difficult, especially when it was in high school. It was difficult for the athletes to make too bad of a grade. I mean, we had some pretty good influence with the coaches. The coaches looked out for the ones that they knew they needed. They definitely looked out for us, made sure our grades was up to par, and if they wasn't, study halling and stuff like that. So
Right.
Luckadoo did give a good support system for us, and he had Luckadoo in his pocket. So yeah, he was good in that area. So with not being in much trouble, with being an athlete, with being involved as he was.
He also sung on the church choir.
No, did he?
Yeah, he was. Matter of fact, me and him was in a. We went to a competition. It was a gospel competition. His choir won second place, and my choir won first place. Did the same day.
What church? What church was all that?
Tabernacle of Praise.
Tabernacle of Praise. What did Shed sing? What was it? Was it tenor, bass? You remember what he sung?
Nah, that part I can't. My mind is slipping on me on that part, but he could
blow a little bit.
He could blow a little bit.
That's what's up. Yeah, he ain't never showed us that.
Yeah, but see, my family is a church, very religious. I got ministers and deacons and all that kind of stuff in my family.
Okay.
And so I can really say, that kind of influenced and helped out a good little bit, because when you're around positive things, you want to try to do positive things. And,
Definitely. Definitely. I think as a whole, growing up, his whole atmosphere was, he had a whole positive aura, positive atmosphere that he always used to bring around or whatever. He was majorly a clown. I mean, you wasn't gonna be around him. I mean, it's still the same thing with Shariko, but if you had him and Shariko together, it was. Terrible. You might well leave the room. Just go ahead and leave the room, or either your stomach gonna be hurting 20 minutes later. Cause them boys will have you on the floor, rolling, locker room, wherever.
Both of them, they were definitely some comedians. Well, speaking on that part, well, I was all of his football team members. I knew several of them. Clarence Jr. What was that other fella name? Honey, I can't remember all the names, but
you talking about Kareem?
Yeah,
Kareem Presley.
Yeah,
Kareem. Shorty.
Oh my God, honey! Some of them, they would come over to the house. They would come, Miss Gaines, what you cooking in there?
That's them.
And that kind of stuff.
That's
honey,
them.
Me and his mother, Shariko, I'm 65, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Me and his mother are close friends, and if they wasn't at my house, they was over at her house. Yeah, so they'd be back and forth. I remember one time they had the whole team had come over, and they called themselves gonna cook. They ate this big entire mess all over the kitchen. So we told them, and Cathy, they gonna have to clean this mess up. I said, well, let's let them clean it up. They done took the dishes and put them in the bathtub. In the bathtub. Now, how you gonna wash dishes in the bathtub? That's what they did. They put all the dishes in the bathtub. Call themselves gonna wash the dishes in the bathtub.
They just trying to get them things wet. They ain't trying to wash them dishes. You gonna put them in the tub and get them wet.
Kareem, all their mothers, matter of fact, me and all the mothers was kind of close.
Yeah. Yeah, them was the boys there. Kareem, when what was that old Delta 88? I think we used to get probably about the whole offense, half the defense off in that Delta 88. It'd be about 15 people jump out the Delta 88. Everybody.
That car gonna fall apart.
That was it. Well, you need to ride to practice. You need to ride home. Hey. Jump in the car with Shorty. Trust me, he got room.
Everybody sitting on top of one another.
That's exactly how we used to roll. Tinted windows. Nah, it's just packed up. So, okay. And think you might need to grab that?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'll get to them later.
Okay.
Actually, I'm having a good time now.
Oh, you are? You having a good time?
Yeah.
Talking about the old day?
Getting some pressure off.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Um, what else would you like to speak on about Shed? Tell me what else would you like to speak on?
Well, he was just very your basic typical average kid. He liked he collected cars. He collected hats. Oh my God, he had to have a
He had some
hat.
mean hats.
With every outfit, he had to have
He
a
had some
hat.
mean hats.
I'm like, oh my God,
Mean
what
hat
in the
game.
world is you are so mama? Your outfit is just not an outfit if you don't have everything. I'm like, well, you got on a pair of shoes, and you got on this, and you got on that. I gotta have a hat.
Accessorize. Got to accessorize.
I'm like,
That's it.
he was just obsessed with everything, had to match, and he had to have a hat to go with.
He had them.
Yeah,
He
but
a
he
rock.
basically he was the love of animals and dogs. Oh my God. Dogs. And typically he, just like I say, he was just the average kid. I never had too much trouble out of him,
Yeah.
you know, 'cause basically he did exactly what I asked him to and could eat. Oh my God. Ooh, child, my grocery bill was something out this world, but it was all worth it.
Yeah. He used to tear it up at the team dinners. They used to actually get them 2 dinners. We used to have hamburger steak at Quincy's, and they give everybody a hamburger steak, baked potato, maybe a salad or something like that. And they come through Shariko and Clarence and Shed. They come through. Boy, all of them got 2 hamburger steaks on them. What the word? How they gonna eat all that and play in the game? How they, man, them boys be eating, boy. They could do some eating. They could definitely do some eating. So I vouch with you on that. Getting into kind of, some of the I guess tougher parts of the conversation.
Sure.
The night that you found out that Shed was shot, how did you find out?
Actually, how I found out, I was at my aunt's house, and my family like is the board game. Everybody love to play board games. I think at that particular night we were playing Monopoly, and my aunt stayed like one side, and my grandparents stayed on the next side. And my grandmother kept calling, and she said, "Come and get the phone." And I said, "Oh, Granny, I'm playing a game." And I said, "Come and get the phone." I'm like, oh my God, let me go get the phone. And it was my aunt from Georgia. She said, "Get up here to the hospital and get up here now." I'm like, "Get to the hospital?" And she said to me that, she said, "You just need to get up here because your son done been shot." And I'm like, oh my God. And so I dropped what I was doing. And you know how when something, hit you at the spur of the moment, you can't think and you lose track. And the car sitting right there, instead of me getting in the car to drive myself to the hospital, I just took off running. I was trying to run to the hospital. And my aunt and my uncle came behind me and said, "Get in the car, just get in the car." And I just remember them telling me to get in the car. And when I finally got up there, I remember the doctor telling me, coming out and saying to me, telling me what all had took place and what was wrong and everything. And I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. So we went down to the chapel and prayed. And matter of fact, some of the football players, some of the team members, they came up and donated blood and everything. Matter of fact, the whole entire school donated blood. And he was losing blood fast as they was giving it to him. He was losing it. And so next thing I know, the whole football team behind me, like what, It was just amazing. I mean, I regret what happened, but now at this stage in time, I can deal with it a little bit better. I mean, I can't change the fact. I can't bring him back. I can't keep hating my heart because that's not gonna make anything. That's not gonna make it right.
Takes wisdom to figure that out.
Oh no, and I have to say, and but God, nobody but God.
I believe.
He'll have you doing some things you don't even know you could do.
So you get to the hospital and you talk to the doctors, and he's getting blood and he's losing blood. And how's your spirit at that moment? How were you feeling at those moments of time?
At that particular time,
being hopeful.
I just already knew. I'm like, well, I may as well get myself prepared because the surgeon, the one that operated on him, had already came out and told him that even if he had lived, he would have been nothing but a vegetable anyway.
Wow. So I remember it took, I think he was shot, and it took like 2 or 3 days, maybe 3 days before he passed.
Happened on the 22nd. He passed on the 25th.
Yeah. I can remember just in school. I can remember the entire atmosphere. The commotion in the halls. It was almost, I don't know, it was undescribable at the moment at that school when everybody found out, because everybody felt it in the school.
Wow.
Even at that point in time, even with, there was still a racist tone at Westside. There was still a few, even with that, they bowed down and got out of the way. They seen the pain of the athletes going through, and I mean, as you said, not just the football athletes. You got the basketball wrestlers, everybody. And it was just total chaos at that school.
Even the ones that wasn't athletes, it was total chaos to me. Several of them came and condoled me, and several of them still call me now. In fact, and you are one of them. Yeah, I have several. Danny, which I call his name's Sharika, but we call him Danny.
Yeah.
Clarence Jr. Shorty.
I don't get to talk to them all as much as I'd like to, but I talk to Shariko and Shorty often, more so than I talk to Clarence. I think Clarence moved away and was in Columbia or something like that.
Yeah, he's in Columbia. He moved to Columbia. I want to say in 2000, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I think his mother is down there with him also.
Okay. I know I see his sister every once in a while, but I don't really pass him too often.
But there is one request that I do have, being that we're talking about some of the players now. Now, I would love to have a photograph of that 1994 football team.
Okay, this is a good thing. That's a perfect thing to bring up right now. It's a perfect time to bring it up as well. So what you need, 1994, you want a picture of the entire team?
The entire team. I must have it. That'll complete my wall.
That'll complete your wall.
That would complete my wall.
All right, so all right, fellas out there, Westside alumni, pull together, dig through the crates. Let's get these team photos from '94, and it's a strong possibility I may be able to get a hold to that if nobody else can. But let's try to get that team Team of '94. I mean, I know y'all wasn't a team of '95 or nothing like that, but I'm sure we can find something on the team of '94. We'll pull that up. We'll get it for you.
I got my years mixed up.
No. It's just that in '94, in 94, we had all of the same athletes as '95,
Okay.
but our record was better in '95. So we
Okay.
try to say that we was better, but we was really the same team. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right then. Yeah,
um,
'cause they still have. Well, I hadn't been to West Side. I haven't been this year, but as you walk in, they had a picture of him. Actually, he wore two different numbers. He wore number
76, wasn't it?
first. He was number 85, and they switched him from number
70.
85 to number 76.
Yeah.
I got all those pictures, but I just wanted a picture of the team members, like with Chirico and Clarence Jr. and Meatball, because all of them was on the team at the same time.
Yep. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make sure I get it for you.
Wow.
Make sure I'm gonna get it for you. That's definite. That's definitely on
Now,
deck.
if you do that, you would make my day.
Well, we got it. We're gonna pull that together. That's for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll definitely be. That should be pretty easy though. Let's go back in. Let's say passing that, the hospital situation and all of that. By that time, were you hearing stories of what had happened that night at the party, or?
Well, I've heard several different sides, and and I'm a person. I'm a totally believer in there is two sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't say what happened, and I can't say what didn't happen because I wasn't there. I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I go by.
Okay. So even with the things that you had heard, even at that point in time, you still was kind of indifferent to not knowing exactly what happened at that.
Until actually, Johnny, the individual that actually done the shooting, the first time he went up for parole, I was kind of fidgety, uneasy about it. And he wrote me several letters, and he wrote me. Matter of fact, I should have brought some of them with me. And he wrote me the most. I can't even find the word that I want to say, but anyway, he was telling me that he was remorseful about what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, he said, if you can find it in your heart, would you please forgive me? And he said, if I had to do it all over again, I would do that in a different way, and I would stop and I would think. He says to me, I know I can't bring your son back. He said, but if there's anything that I can do for you to help you or to do anything for you, please call me and let me know, and I will never hesitate. At first, when it first happened, I kept a lot of hard feelings, a lot of hate and stuff. And through the years, just like I say, it took some time. It really did. It took quite some time. And I came to the conclusion, but then just like I tell you, now when God is in it, ain't nothing you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing you can do with it. Don't even try to touch it. Don't even think about it. Because you just ain't going to have nothing to do. You can't do nothing.
All right.
And so, just like I said, I got in church and everything, and God touched me. He said, now, I done forgave you for your wrongdoings and the stuff that you done done. Don't you think it's time that you forgive this young man? And it kind of threw me. I'm like, how can I forgive him? He done took something dear from me, That's me within myself.
Mm-hmm.
And after I thought about it, I said, well, I done wrong. A whole lot of wrong. Probably still gonna do some wrong. And God gonna forgive me. And in order for me to make it in, I'm gonna have to make it right and forgive him.
Hmm.
There just ain't no way around it. In order for anything to go right with anyone, especially not even if it's violence, just if you just make a mistake and do something out of the ordinary, that you wouldn't normally do. you got some hard, some remorseful feelings about. You want to try to make that right.
Definitely.
So that's just it. I just try to. Everybody deserves a second chance, and I thought he deserved a second chance. I really did.
So you said by the time that he was going up for parole the first time, you were already feeling that way?
Yeah, I was already feeling. I'm like, because the first time he went up for parole, I didn't make it. I couldn't make it. I was sick.
So that was like what, like maybe 20 years, or was that?
Yeah,
Was that
I think he had been there probably. I want to say about 12 years, if I'm not mistaken.
so about
But
12
if I
years.
had all my paperwork, I could give you the exact
Mhm.
dates and all that. But I didn't bring all that with me. But anyway, so when he went up in 2019, I was there. And I had promised to his mother. And I know it was God, because I know I didn't have no power to let him go or release him in any kind of way. And I said to his mother, and several of his family members, his mother and his sisters and everything, I said, if I go to that parole hearing, they are going to let him go. And if one of his relatives was here, they'd tell you the same thing right now. That's just how strongly I felt about it. I just didn't feel like he should be there anymore. He done paid his debt to, as they can say, pay his debt to society. How you gonna pay this debt to society? There's no such thing as paying your debt to society. God is the one who's in control. People should realize that.
Definitely.
Whatever we think don't make a hell of beans.
Hmm.
As long as it's all right with God, it should be all right with you.
So, wow, that just, I mean, that in itself, just that feeling. I mean, a lot of people have, Christian values, but to be able to forgive to that extent, that's not common. That's amazing. That's astounding that you could, I mean, and even go to the extent to show up at a parole hearing for a
Well,
person like that who
what?
has taken something like that from you. I mean, even if you do forgive,
Mhm.
to go to that extent to show up to make sure that they get out of, I mean, how did you get to that point? I mean, what
God.
just God, he
God,
just gave it to
God, once you give yourself to God and do this, give it to Him,
you. Hmm.
He'll lead you the right way. It takes God. You can't do it on your own. Because if I had kept doing it the way I was going to do it, He'd be there now.
All right.
Just always remember, God is in control.
Got it. What do you think your forgiveness did for him? Did for Johnny? You forgiving him.
I would hope for relief and comfort. Hope. Some sort of value as to, pick yourself up and go on. You just don't lay there. You made a mistake. We all just keep going. As a matter of fact, me and him had a conversation on the phone. I want to say maybe 5 months ago, and then me and him he had called, and he was feeling kind of down, and he said to me he was depressed, and I said, well, why are you depressed? He says, because people are saying things, and I don't like what they're saying. I said, well, honey, they talked about the Lord, so don't worry about what they say. I said, as long as you can get up and thank God for what He has done for you and the thing that He's doing, you don't have to worry about nothing. Everything else fall in place. Just keep yourself focused on what's right. And I told him, I said, you still a young man. You got a chance to have your wife, have your family. Keep yourself up and go on, honey. He was saying to me that all he wanted to do was just stay in his room, and not go out and all that kind of stuff. Well, which can't go too many places anyway, but just to confine yourself like that, you already been confined. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, just with speaking with him, I know that, even though I know what he can say, how he says your forgiveness affected him. Um, but I also know that it's almost an understatement in everything that he's saying, because he can't express that what it's actually done for him, like the life that he spoke on, that it breathed back into him to have your forgiveness. And I could only imagine.
Well, in time, just like I said, I know y'all, the people tell me, all you think talk about is God, God, God. Well, you have to put God in it, because if he's not in it, you can't do it.
Definitely.
There's just no way. You're going to fail, something's going to go wrong. It just won't be right. I just say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in due time, in order for him to accept me forgiving him, is he gonna have to forgive himself first. You gotta start with yourself first.
This is true.
If you ain't forgave yourself, you can't accept the forgiveness from nobody else. You gotta do it first for yourself.
This
And
is
once
true.
that fall in, then I believe he can accept it. I don't think he's forgiven himself yet. He's still mourning his mistake. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get him to not do. Don't keep mourning your mistake. Go forward, not backwards.
Well, I mean, I'm all about the community. I think, if each one is teaching one, and I think if you can help him in one way, maybe I can help him in another, then we got one more thriving person in our community to help the next generation.
Right.
So I definitely look forward to him progressing and growing and blossoming from this situation.
Right.
As detrimental as it was, and as much as it hurt in those moments, as I sat and I had a conversation with him, and I told him, like, it's so ironic that me and you are sitting here doing this interview with one another, when the moment that I found out what you did, I wanted you dead at that moment. And
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I was with the group. I was with the group that came to the hospital.
Mm.
So we actually went to this crime scene first, and then no one was at the crime scene and no one was giving us information. So then we came to the hospital.
Mm.
So yeah, there was a point when, yeah, that's all I wanted to see. There was a point when, especially, 4 and 5 years later, that was still the talk, yeah, man, we need to make sure that we start, go up there every time he come up for parole and this, that, and the other. And, and that seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah, at that time, just like I say, the reason why I can sympathize with him is because I was in the same situation myself.
Mm.
Once, you can really feel what another person feels, especially if you've experienced the same thing that they went through.
How so?
Now, I can't tell you how it feels if you hadn't been through it, just like if you don't
You
lost
good,
a child.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you can coincide with one another. I can tell you how I feel, and I can sympathize with you because I can kind of feel what you feel, if you get what I'm saying.
I can.
But if you ain't never been through it, there's just no way for you to understand it.
I get it.
Experience, in other words, what I'm trying to say, experience is the best teacher.
Definitely. I can dig it. Wow. So, y'all relationship right now, you and Johnny's relationship is blossoming. Y'all have a good friendship. Y'all talk pretty often.
All the time. He's always sending me things. He's always calling and checking on me, and we even pray over the phone. And tell one another we love one another and everything. We even talked about this interview already.
Oh yeah, yeah, I already talked it up. Well, yeah, well, I definitely wanted to be able to have the two of you together in part of this interview. I would like to have him at the tail end of it, have him join to so you guys can, so the Black Legacy viewers can actually see the chemistry, the love, the forgiveness in action, just live all the way. But it's a possibility we won't be able to do that. But I've talked to my audio and video crew here, and anytime that we can make it happen, what we'll try to do one day when we get some good weather, we'll come out and we'll set up maybe in the yard by the flowers or something like that. I seen all the beautiful flowers that you have.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And honey, I am tell you the truth. A lot of my relatives ask me now, even to this point, how could you do that? How could you do that? Now let's look at them and say, but God.
How do they feel about that though? I mean, how
Well,
are their attitudes towards you?
It's not what they feel. They haven't lost anything
Okay.
to a certain extent.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
I'm the one who's in pain here. So why would you have remorse about what I'm doing to try to help somebody in a situation? What we're trying to do here is help another individual not have to go through the same thing.
Well, you are definitely leading by example. With, I think, this action for this area, this will definitely be a trailblazing moment that, you know, anyone can be able to look back at and actually see a path. You know what I mean? And if God is the path to that type of forgiveness, if they're seeking it, then they can see that through you.
Well, the only, excuse me for cutting you off.
No, you good.
The only thing I can tell anyone is that I know for a fact, beyond a shadow of doubt, that God is in control. There's no doubt in my mind. There's nothing gonna make me change my mind. There's nothing that anybody can tell me that make it any different. I know for myself. And once you, it's just like I was saying a few minutes ago, once you have the expression that I made about experience is the best teacher, you have to establish that relationship with God for yourself. And if you do that for yourself, then you can understand where I'm coming from.
Gotcha. So that's the path to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got to get it for yourself. Don't go by what I say, because what I say, that don't mean nothing. But to experience it for yourself that's just like a junkie. You want a high that you won't even imagine.
I can dig it. So, okay, now with ending, before we actually end our interview, are there anything that you would say what message would you give to any young mothers, single mothers, black mothers, any mothers out there for their sons, black sons that they're raising, to have them on the right path? And I would say with that, a path actually similar to your son's, because your son was definitely on a good path. I think I'm sure you was receiving plenty of letters and stuff like that from different colleges interested in him playing multiple sports or whatever.
Actually, I think we got about 4 letters.
Yeah, they already got him by 4, and it was a junior when that happened, right? Yeah, so he was pretty much a guarantee for that. So, what advice would you give?
The only thing I can tell the single mother nowadays in time is to stay focused on what's right. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is God. Make sure you give God all the honor, the glory, and the praise, and I guarantee you everything will come out all right. Put him first. Seek him for everything, not one thing, everything. He'll lead you where you need to be.
That's it. Okay. Well, you heard it here first. That's what it is. Well, Miss Cathy, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this interview up. I have enjoyed you today. I'm glad that we have finally been able to link up and get all of this on audio and on video. As you know, this is the actual start of an ongoing process. We're gonna try to do some other things. We're gonna try to contact and have some interviews with the friends. We want to actually turn not only this to a Black Legacy mobilizing the movement video, but we actually want to turn this whole process into a documentary. So if there are any friends of Shedrick, high school classmates, anyone that knew him from the hood or whatever, if y'all would like to give a video testimonial of who he was, what he stood for, the type of person that he would to be a part of this documentary, please definitely reach out to me at Black Legacy, me personally, my Facebook page, Hindu, you already know, and IG, whatever. Just get in contact with us. This will be an ongoing process probably for the next few months. A few of the classmates I've already contacted. We're looking forward to doing y'all interviews. I know it's been a delay with it, but we'll definitely get back on it. We want this to set an example for Anderson. This is our answer to black on black crime. That is one of the most common things said whenever we talk about the things that go on in our community. Well, what about black on black crime? This is our community's the highest response that we can give. This is our response to the black on black crime. There was punishment and jail time. There was forgiveness, and now it's our community moving forward. We're moving forward. So thank you. See you next time. Black Legacy, baby.
Carolina, South Carolina, Carolina.